What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 109 of Trail Tales. My name is Kyle O'Grady. I am a thru hiker. I am a peak bagger. I am a huge hiking nerd, and every single week on this podcast, I chat with other hiking nerds about their experiences on the trail. You knew it. I say it every single week. You've heard that intro before, or if you haven't, welcome. This is your first time listening, welcome. If you listen a lot, I am sorry for missing the episode last week. You know, got a lot going on. I'm missing episodes every now and then. I know it's not great, but don't worry, the show is not going anywhere. This week's guest is a man you should be familiar with if you've listened to previous episodes. Jacob Younger is back on the show. He hiked the Appalachian Trail. He's done a bunch of stuff in Pennsylvania. We met each other on the Northville Placid Trail, as we discussed in our last episode. And honestly, Jacob and I just have a similar vibe. Like, that sounds so generic for like a podcast intro. Like, yeah, man, we have the same vibe. But it's true. Like, we're pretty similar hikers. We're similar in age. I just feel like we have a lot in common. And I really enjoyed our last episode, and so I invited him back on for a second episode, and we kind of wanted to do like a fun episode. I sound like a bit of an idiot in this one, I'm not gonna lie, but it's all good. We spent a lot of time making fun of camp chairs. We spent some time talking about mileage goals. You know, how do you find the balance between hiking like too many miles and not having any fun, but also like pushing yourself enough that it's rewarding. Honestly, a conversation that we probably could elaborate on even more. And at the end, we talk about Jacob's new podcast. We talk a little bit about his gear company. And yeah, just a bunch of random stuff. It was a really fun episode. I'm very grateful for Jacob taking the time to come back on a second episode. I think you're going to hear him on a lot more episodes in the future as well. So with that said, if you want to help support the show, Patreon. I know I've been plugging the Trail Tales Patreon for pretty much every episode up until this point, but I think I'm going to start pushing people towards the Kyle Hates Hiking Patreon so I can just consolidate the Patreons. So check out patreon.com/Kyle Hates Hiking if you want to help support this content. If you want to go above and beyond, that would really, really mean a lot to me. And of course, leave a 5-star review for Trail Tales on iTunes or whatever your podcast app is. That would be awesome. Yeah, I think we're going to get into it. Here we go, episode number 109 with Jacob Younger. All right, here we go. Jacob Younger, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. The second Trail Tales episode for Jacob. Let's go. Honestly, folks, I'm kind of thinking about starting to just have like a lot more reoccurring guests on the show. I mean, I still do have reoccurring guests quite frequently, but I don't know. I always have the most fun when I'm talking to people I kind of know already and people I know I kind of vibe with. And not that I don't like having guests on. I'm still gonna have guests on. Like, or let me rephrase it. I'm still gonna have people that aren't reoccurring guests on. But I don't know. I like doing these fun episodes, and this is gonna be a fun episode. That makes it sound like the other episodes aren't fun, and now I'm just kind of getting my words all tangled up. So I should probably just shut the hell up. Jacob, thank you for coming on again. I'm stoked. And yeah, what you been up to?
Not too much. Just been working, finalizing some designs for the Kickstarter on rigging it. I started trail running again, so ski season's over. So I've been hitting the local loop. That's been awful. So trying to get back in shape.
Oh no.
Yeah, I very much lost my lungs because I didn't really run all winter. I was just skiing all the time. So getting back into shape like that, but it's been fun. It's good to get out there.
I'm gonna be in the same boat in just a few weeks here. It started to be spring, and then today we got like not a lot of snow, but enough that I'm looking out my window right now, and there's like it's mostly white. Which kind of sucks because I was kind of over it, but I should get one more day of skiing in this weekend, which will be kind of cool. So, got to look on the bright side. But you're telling me that skiing doesn't get you in shape for trail running, huh?
No, not especially. Like when someone
that?
carries you up the mountain, it's a lot easier.
Turns out, yeah, I'm gonna be doing the same thing, getting back into like hiking and trail running very shortly here. So, yeah, my lungs are probably going to be gone as well, but we'll see what happens. We're going to shit on camp chairs today, everybody. I know that's an abrupt change of topic there, but Jacob apparently also we honestly haven't really talked about it, but apparently Jacob also does not like camp chairs. And if you just listen to Trail Tales and you don't watch my videos, then you might be a little caught off guard by that. But I put out a video probably about a month ago. It was like a joke video, like a fun video talking about how I don't like to carry camp chairs. I think I've talked about it on the show at various points now, but yeah, Jacob also doesn't like to carry camp chairs, and we're going to go through items that we would rather carry than camp chairs. That's the only criteria here. I've got like a little list. Jacob's got a list, I think, and we're just going to do that. I don't know. How much like thought did you put into like these items? Because I literally just jotted, maybe over the course of like 2 minutes, I just jotted down like a few things, and I feel like looking back at them now, they don't really make that much sense at all, but neither does most of this show, so it's whatever. I don't know. How much thought did you put into your list?
I had like 4 or 5 items. Yeah, I don't know. Your video on camp chairs was so funny. That's probably my favorite one you've done yet. I was dying, so I was like, I gotta get on the pod and talk about this.
Were you against camp chairs before you saw that video too?
Oh yeah, I remember like.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to hear. Enthusiastic.
My friend Tyler that you met, we were hiking the Northfield Placid Trail. When he was first getting into backpacking, he was telling me about this like ultralight in quotes camp chair. I was like, it's not ultralight because you don't need it. So it doesn't matter how much it weighs. You don't need a chair. And I would like always rag on him to like get rid of the camp chair. And this was when he had like the Atmos and like the synthetic sleep bags. So he was heavy packing, and I would always like that would always be a point of contention. I'd be like, dude, are you bringing that camp chair again? He's got the Waymark pack now. He's got the Z Light and all that, so he's ultralight now. He doesn't bring that anymore.
So he ditched the camp chair. It's funny.
I converted him.
And obviously like this is tongue in cheek, folks. Like I don't actually care if you bring a camp chair, but like, you know, if you try to go ultralight, if you take that seriously, like can't be bringing a chair. Come on, nature. As I might have said in that video, or I said in one of my videos, it's like nature is your camp chair. Sit on a log. Like, is it that bad? You know?
No, dude. Then there's like you can you find like a good like 2 rocks next to each other, and then you can lean back in that.
Ooh, true.
You know, I like to lay down like on my foam pad and just like put my head on a rock, so like a pillow, or just in the dirt. I mean, you're backpacking, you know, like get out there, enjoy it, be one with nature. There's so many places to sit down. Exactly.
And like, of course, you know, that video is tongue in cheek and everything, but I do like genuinely not like have any desire to bring a camp chair. And people will also say like, oh, well, you at least like want to bring a butt pad, right? And I'm like, I don't know. Do you have a butt pad? Do you bring a butt pad?
I usually just have like a foam pad. I usually just rock like the blue Walmart foam pad, and then I have that strapped to the top of my pack. So like if we're stopping for lunch or whatever, I can just quick pop that out and then use that. So that's kind of before when I would like do the frameless thing and have the foam pad inside the backpack. Mm-hmm. And I never carried a pad then. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like
I have a little bit more sympathy for the sit pad. I still don't carry one. Maybe I will. I could see myself maybe carrying one someday. I will say, up until this past summer, I like on the AT and all my hikes before this past summer, I had the Z Light as my sleeping pad because I was rocking the hammock, and I just used that. And so like during the day, I didn't have the sit pad, but like when I was at camp, at least sometimes I would use it. But even then, I feel like I'd never really used it that much. Like it definitely wasn't a majority of the time. So even when I had it at my disposal, I really wasn't using it that much anyway. So the idea of bringing an entire chair, it's just like if I don't even use the butt pad that often that I was carrying at the time, like why would I bring a chair? You know, like I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. I just feel like. People say like, oh, it's for comfort when you're sitting in camp. Like it's so much more comfortable. And maybe I have to try it, but like I probably won't. But like I just don't see how it could be that much more comfortable. Like when you're tired from a day of like hiking, I don't know. I'm not like picky where I'm flopping down. I'm just like, at least I'm not moving anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. I could see it being more comfortable, honestly.
Probably.
But it's just like that's not enough to make me like want to carry. I don't know. And I know the two most common things that I got commented on that video and still get commented on various videos now because it's like a whole meme for my channel now is the first one is if you sat in one, you would change your mind. And I'm like, I haven't sat in one, so like I can't completely refute that, but I mean, you don't know. Like you don't know that for sure, right? Like I'm not saying like I'm not doubting that they're comfortable. I'm sure they're comfortable. I just like don't think it's like worth carrying. And then the other thing, and this was probably the most common like pushback I got by far, was like, oh, when you're older, like you're gonna want one. And I can't refute that really because like I'm only 25, but I don't know. I did get a couple people that were like, oh, I'm older and like I still don't carry one. So
yeah, my dad's like almost 60. And we pack back and stuff, and he doesn't bring one, so I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know if he knows about him though.
Yeah. Maybe if he does know about him, then he would be down. I think
I doubt it because he's all about the ultralight. Like I mean, he's always looking at his Excel sheet. Like he doesn't have a lighter pack. He has a homemade Excel sheet that he looks at, and he's dialing his stuff in. So I doubt he would, but
that's awesome. I feel like at the end of the day, it all kind of comes down to hiking style because, and this is perfectly obvious for everybody I know, but it's like if your hiking style is just like super chill and you're spending a lot of time in camp, and this could be broadened even out into the entire discussion of like ultralight versus traditional backpacking in the first place. But like if you're just chilling, if you're only hiking a few miles or just not hiking to the point where you're like completely dead at the end of the day, it's like, and you're just gonna fuck around in camp, like then you might as well bring the chair, like for sure. But the thing that doesn't, like the people who do that and carry camp chairs, like I understand that. The thing that I don't understand, and I know you're not the person to be I don't know, getting this out to because you don't carry the chair, the Shill brothers would probably be the best people to get this out to, but it's like the people who do hike like big days and big miles and still carry the chair. That's what I don't understand. Maybe I'm just jealous, but it's like I feel like I usually just hike all day, get to camp, and not just immediately go to bed, but usually by the time dinner's done and everything, it's like just go to bed. I guess basically, like I don't know. Is that kind of similar to your style of hiking, Jacob?
Yeah. Like I'll get into camp and like I'll try to make dinner like as fast as I can, get that in, and then I can get in my sleeping bag and chill. Like I cold soak sometimes in the summer, and like not for the weight savings, just so that when I get to camp I can eat as fast as I can and then chill.
yeah, but if you're chilling, then why not have the chair? I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate here.
Because I'd rather just be laying down, I think.
So you just like lay like in your tent or like. What do you?
Yeah,
what do you
like
do?
or a hammock, depending on what I'm bringing. Like my hammock or tarp.
If you have a hammock, and this is something I didn't even mention in that video, which I probably, I guess I could have, but if you have a hammock, that changes a lot of things because you can use, depending on your hammock setup, but for most hammocks, I would safely say you can use the hammock as a chair too. Like you can just sit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I actually did that quite a bit on the AT, so maybe that's another reason why I never considered a chair. Not always, but sometimes I would do that. It's like you can, especially if you're solo backpacking, because if you're hiking with a group and you're like all cooking together, chilling together, whatever, it might not work out that you can set your hammock up right where like the common area is. But if you're by yourself, like you can definitely do that with a hammock. You can just sit in the hammock and like it's more comfortable than any camp chair, even though I haven't tried one. I can guarantee you that. And it's like you don't gotta carry it. But with a tent, you're kind of shit out of luck, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't usually. I usually tarp camp. Like I haven't camped in a tent in a while, so like I feel like it'd be different if I was just hanging out like in like when it's not raining and you're just like in your tent and it's all like almost like claustrophobic. But like with a tarp, you kind of like angle it so you're still like looking out and seeing stuff and like in the nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's like another thing, like why I just like chilling and laying down and stuff because I can still look out at everything in my tarp.
Interesting. Well, let's get into this list. Fucking 11 minutes later or whatever. So like I said at the top of the episode, these are lists of items that we would rather carry than a camp chair. So I think we'll just go back and forth. Like I said, I'm looking at my list right now, and I feel like some of these don't make sense, but I'm going to try to justify them somehow. Very loose criteria here. Thought about this for literally 30 seconds. But I'm going to make Jacob go first. So, Jacob, what is the first item that you would rather carry than a camp chair, and why?
I'm gonna leave you the easiest one.
Okay.
I think the first thing I would bring, instead would be just like an extra. Well, so this would come up. So I just looked it up. The Helinox chair that everyone uses is 1.1 pounds. So you could bring a pillow, like an inflatable pillow, and an extra like down throw, like the Costco like down blanket, and you could make sure you would not get cold and you're comfortable sleeping. Which I think your comfort sleeping is way more important than your comfort for an hour or two, like around the fire. So that's my first choice.
You know, I can already tell you put way more thought and logic into this list than I did. I interpreted this as just like items that I like better than camp chairs, even though I still probably wouldn't carry these items. So like if someone had a gun to my head and was like, you have to take an item you don't want, these are like the items that I would take before I chose a camp chair, I guess. But that actually makes sense because for the same or similar amount of weight, you're actually like adding something, that could be useful, obviously, depending on the weather to your pack. I like that. That's good. So yeah, this just doesn't make sense. All right, so I'll go into mine then with that preface there. So if someone had a gun to my head and said, Kyle, you have to carry an item you don't want to carry, this is the first item I would choose before I chose a camp chair. A cat can stove. Have you ever used one of those things before? And I know the weight's not comparable. That's why I'm kind of feeling like an idiot for putting that on the list. But have you ever used one of those before?
Like the alcohol stove, right?
Yeah, an alcohol stove. Yeah.
Yeah, I've dabbled.
See, that's what I did too. I like dabbled with those many years ago when I was first getting into backpacking. Not just to save the weight, honestly, mostly because I was like living with my parents still and didn't in like high school without a job, so I didn't really have money to spend. So I thought a cat can stove would be wicked cheap. And it was wicked cheap, but I wasn't really I kind of didn't like it, honestly. In hindsight,
finicky.
maybe I would rather. Nah, I can't go back on my word now. Yeah, they're not great. I know some people out there, like there's some UL hikers that have them dialed in. And in a perfect world, I would be using one too. Trust me, like I wish I could, but I don't know. They're just like, I don't like how you can't control the fuel once you like dump it in and light it on fire, basically,
Yeah. And then I know like out west, there's issues with that where you really don't want to be using that style with the forest fires and all that.
They're also just like kind of dangerous. Like I feel like every time I'm at a shelter on any shelter on like the AT or something that has a picnic table, you can see like a burn ring from something, and I always just assumed those are from the cat can or the alcohol stoves. I don't know if they're actually from that, but that was always my assumption. I was never a fan of those, but I'm sure there's somebody out there listening that uses them and has like perfected it. I think another thing too is, so you said you like cold soaked a little bit. When you do bring a stove, are you like cooking with it, or usually just heating up the water and kind of like dumping the water into a pouch or something and reheating your food that way?
Yeah, I pretty much at this point, unless I'm like going with friends and it's just like we're doing like 4 miles or something, I'll usually just do that style where you boil the water and then add it to your beans or whatever and rehydrate it like that. I don't like cook.
Yeah.
Usually.
I feel like you're the prime candidate for an alcohol stove then, because the other issue I found with the alcohol stove was I like to, I mean, when I say cook, I'm not like fucking, I'm not like whipping up like a 5-course meal or whatever, but like I actually like cook the rice a little bit in my pot. And that's kind of hard to do when you can't control the temperature and you can't like bring it down to like a simmer or whatever. I feel like alcohol stoves would be good for people or better for people, I'll say, who just like need to boil the water. And once the water's boiled, like that's all they have to do and they could just dump it into a pouch. I feel like that, I don't know, it could it could work for that. I'm kind of surprised if you're like so UL that you're against the camp chair as much as I am. I'm kind of surprised you don't fuck with the alcohol stoves as much.
Well, I used one. There's a guy on the AT who left them, like a bunch of them with like these little like folded up pieces of paper with like his rating and like test results of each one.
Wait,
in
what?
like the Harper's Ferry. Yeah, in the Harper's Ferry hiker box, like at the ATC, there was like 10 of them, and they're all like different kinds of beer, and like he had like personal notes on each one. So like I picked one up and used it to like, I don't remember how long, but I smashed it. It was in the outside of my pocket, and I like smashed it against a rock, and that's why I stopped using it.
Oh shit!
Like I would have like just a little bit of alcohol and like the stove, and like sometimes if it was like rainy and I wanted a hot dinner, I would use that, or if I like forgot to do my soak. So I played with it for like a couple 100 miles, but I never like, I've tried to make them on my own, and like I can't do it like he did. I gotta figure out what that guy's name. He had like a YouTube channel and everything, and it was kind of cool, like little trail magic.
They are kind of fun to make. Like I made a few back in the day. I made like the cat can one, obviously, because that's wicked easy. All you need is the right size can, and then like a punch, like a paper. What is the fucking, like a
hole punch?
Hole punch. Yeah, I couldn't fucking think of the name of that. Haven't used one of those in a long time. I guess I'll say that. But yeah, that's like all you need. And then I tried to make a soda can or whatever can, one as well. I can't remember how it worked. I feel like I definitely never brought it backpacking with me, but I feel like getting the two pieces like connected was kind of like the hard part, because like they're the same size, but one of them has to go over the other. So like I always just ended up like crushing the fucking thing. But they were fun to mess with. I think my parents thought I was going to burn the house down, but I didn't somehow. Anyways, so what's the next thing on your list? The next thing that you would rather take than a camp chair?
Okay, so I was leaving this one for you as a softball, but I'm taking it on my second pick.
Okay, let's do it.
Beer, obviously, just like you can get two 12-ounce beers and have a nice beer in camp, and that will relax you just fine. You don't need a camp chair.
That's so true. That will relax you probably more than the camp chair. And I know if someone's going to be like, "Oh, why can't you carry both?" And to that, I would say, "Shut up," because that's not what this is about. But even though I don't even know what this is about, I actually had the same thing. Except I wrote a 6-pack. I don't know. I feel like a 6-pack is probably a decent amount heavier than a camp chair. Maybe like I don't even know, honestly.
How much would a 6-pack be? Like was that 12 times 6?
Let me Google it. How much does a 6-pack weigh? All right, answers.com says all right, ready for the top answer? It's lots. That's what we got here. I wish I had this on the screen. Somebody said, how much does a 12-pack of beer weigh? And someone wrote the average 12-pack weighs 18 to 21 pounds. Is that right? Then somebody said a 6-pack would weigh 4.5 pounds. So that's significantly heavier than a camp chair, or at least some of the lightweight camp chairs anyways. So I think I like yours better, of just like, a couple beers rather than an entire 6-pack. But
get some nice IPAs, something with high content,
or nice like double IPA. Lord knows people around here like to drink those, and or just like some whiskey or something,
Yeah, wine if you like that.
Wine, a bag of wine.
Yeah.
No. That is a good one though. My next one, again, I wrote an extra pair of socks, which again is not equal in weight, clearly. But if I had to choose between carrying a camp chair or carrying an extra pair of socks, I would choose the extra pair of socks, I think. What do you think?
Dude, I feel that's so hard. That's like, because that's one of the things, like when you're like trying to be all ultralight and dial in your pack, you're like, all right, I gotta leave these socks behind, and you're wearing like the same grimy socks every day. It's gonna be so much nicer just have like one or two extra pairs. So I feel that for sure.
What or how many pairs of socks do you usually carry?
I was doing like on my through hike, I had 2 pairs of nylon like dress socks that I would just kind of like buy new ones at Walmart as they wore out. They didn't last that long, but I don't know, like with my feet, those ones kind of gave me the least blisters and they're cheap. and then I would have like a nice fluffy pair of like Dickies work cold weather work socks for like being cozy. So I would rock 3.
See, that's still one more, but I would just take 2 darn tough. So, I don't know. I've seen some people do the ankle socks and stuff, and I do that. We're really getting into the weeds now, but I would do like the normal size socks. And I was thinking the other day, I was like, I could probably save like not even an ounce, probably like grams if I just went with the ankle socks instead of the normal length socks. But I don't know. If I had to choose
something about
go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about having your ankle covered up like just a little bit. It makes me feel safer.
I know, me too. I don't know. Maybe it's like a West Coast thing. Maybe more people out there carry ankle or wear ankle socks. Maybe not. Probably not. I don't fucking know. But anyways, I would much rather take an extra pair of socks than a camp chair. What's next? What's next on your list?
Okay, so if we're going with the scenario, let's say I'm taking some new friends hiking, they've never been, we'll go like 4 miles or something, and we're spending a lot of time in camp. I would rather bring like a hatchet or a saw that weighs a pound than a camp chair, so I could like make a cool fire and stuff.
I like that. I like switching up the scenario a little bit because I kind of did all mine just with like normal like through hiking backpacking in mind. But I don't know. If I was just gonna be chilling, I could see myself maybe going with the chair over the hatchet. But I'm also never the person to volunteer to get the firewood, like ever. Like I assure you, if I ever hike with you, I will not be the one that wants to get the firewood. Happy to suggest a fire, but not happy to get the firewood. So maybe I would rather choose the chair. But it is true if you're gonna be chilling and you're gonna have like a pound of extra weight, certainly somebody in the group having like a hatchet or something like that would definitely be helpful. So yeah, that makes sense. My next one, and this is going back to the items that I wouldn't want to carry but would just choose over the camp chair if I had to, a bear canister. And this one actually makes a little bit of sense because you can sit on the bear canister, but it also serves the purpose of protecting your food. And this is assuming we're hiking in a place that's not where it's not required to have a bear canister, obviously. I would voluntarily take a bear canister probably over the camp chair because it's a chair and it protects your food. What do you think about that?
Again, I 100% agree because the value of just throwing everything in the can and then not really like
you don't have to bear hang either.
You don't have to bear hang. You don't have to look for trees and then like while it's getting dark, like if you can just throw your stuff in there and like not worry about it, like that peace of mind definitely weighs heavier than would be more favorable to me than the camp chair.
Yeah, but I feel like a bear canister probably would most of the time weigh more than a camp chair. But
yeah, I think they're like 3.5 pounds. Yeah, I don't even have one. I don't
either. I don't fucking use them either. But I might have to on a hike this summer. We'll see. A couple hikes this summer. They're required in the high peaks in the Adirondacks, which kind of sucks.
Yep.
All right, I have one more on my list. Do you have any more?
I think my last one would be a similar scenario to what I said last time, where you're taking like new people out and you're like
just chilling,
having fun, chilling.
Yeah.
Do like a Nerf football, like I don't know, or like a frisbee.
Okay, I like it.
I don't know. That'd be more fun, and like especially if you're not like tired from the day, like it'd be fun to mess around. I don't know, or like any kind of like entertainment type thing.
A wiffle ball bat.
Yeah,
ball,
that's a great idea.
Which I feel like it's pretty hard to play wiffle ball in the woods, but I'm sure it's been done before. Yeah, I like that. I like that honestly. Just like something to toss around or whatever. You could do like I'm trying to think if you had like some kind of like round ball. Again, really getting into the weeds here. You could like also use it as a like massage ball, right? Which some people. Point. This is so stupid. Honestly, with some people, or it's not stupid that some people carry them. My idea of trying to come up with a multi-purpose item that's already not even a backpacking item is stupid. That's what I meant there. But some people carry the massage ball. I did my last video. I did like a pack shakedown for this girl who's going out to try to do the AT this year, and she had a massage ball, like I forget even what it is, or what the brand is, but she had one of those in her list, and I told her to cut it out. But some people like that. I know Darwin on the trail, I'm pretty sure he has one in his pack.
Yes. So when I was hiking the AT, I got real bad plantar fasciitis at the beginning, and so I needed a massage ball it started out with a tennis ball that I found at a shelter, and then I saw like a really good, like a hard plastic with like these bumps on it, like ball at CVS. And like when I was like, if you have plantar fasciitis, it's like rolling it out every night is definitely like a big help. So like if you do have plantar fasciitis, I feel like it's still ultralight to carry a rolly ball. But
I mean, if you kind of need it, yeah.
But
do you carry
play games
one?
with it too.
Do you carry one like post AT, or is it only like really when your feet are acting up?
No, I don't carry one now. I haven't really been bothered by the plantar fasciitis. I think it like what happened was when I started the trail, I was so much heavier, and like I had lost so much weight on the trail that at the beginning, I was just straining myself too much, and like it just got kind of out of control. But like with stretches and like with stretching and the ball, it was good. And then it kind of went away, and it's kind of funny. It went away in New Hampshire because of how steep all the climbs were. It was just like stretching the arch out. Like, this is my theory. I don't really know medically if this is accurate, but just like hiking basically on your toes and like going straight up, and like that whole like calf stretch, and then that stretches out the arch of your foot. Like, after a day or two in the whites, like my feet were like totally fine for the rest of the trail. So that was kind of interesting.
Shit. Nice.
Yeah, it was weird.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not just trying to shit on like the massage ball, everybody, but maybe I'll need one when I get older.
Like, if you don't need to roll your foot out, and you can do like if you have like a water bottle and stuff, you can roll out.
Oh, true. That's a good idea. Although maybe with the plastic bottles, it might be kind of hard.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. A smart water bottle filled with water, you could probably do it with that.
Yeah, or like Gatorade too, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
A Gatorade, I'm sure you could. You might risk like puncturing your bottle, which would be a real bummer because that thing's going to be useless basically. But or like maybe a trekking pole would be too small or too thin. I don't know.
But even if you take like the if you just take like the handle of the trekking pole and just kind of like rub your foot into the like do the rolling motion, like you keep the pole stationary and then just kind of work your foot into it. That works too. I was doing that.
Okay, nice.
But it's a little easier with the ball.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. No doubt. My last one here, and I actually think this one's a pretty good one, because this would probably be a roughly equal weight, maybe depending. Maybe it's a little bit less, but I would rather take like a nice, like still ultralight, but internal frame pack. Not like a 70 liter like fucking huge brain like kind of internal frame pack, but like maybe like a Hyperlight Mountain Gear kind of internal frame pack where it's like got the frame. But anyways, internal frame pack. Yeah, I think that would be roughly maybe equal in weight. Roughly an extra pound maybe depending on the pack. Maybe not honestly, but it's like. I would rather use that extra weight to make my backpack carry a little bit better, maybe. Although I really haven't had any problems with a frameless pack, but I don't know. Maybe if I went back, I would I would like it better. I don't know. Probably not, but it might be more comfortable at least. So that's what I'm getting at here. So yeah, that's my last one. What do you think about internal frame pack instead of a camp chair?
That one I don't know about. I don't really use frameless. Like, I haven't used a frameless pack in a while, or a framed pack in a while. And I like the freedom of having your hips free when you're hiking. Like, when I have the waist belt cinched down, I feel like that I don't feel
Wait,
as like...
so you don't even use a hip belt on your pack?
Not usually. Like, if it's sometimes, like during the day, sometimes I'll like I'll have like just like a webbing hip belt, like 1-inch webbing with a buckle.
But you're not putting a lot of weight on it.
No, and during the day, sometimes you want to kind of adjust how things are carrying. So I'll put the hip belt on for like a half hour, an hour, or like if I'm carrying beer out of town or something, then I'll hip belt up. But I really like the freedom of having your hips free. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, so I've like really never hiked without a hip belt. But I don't know. At times I've like loosened my hip belt and put a lot of my weight on my shoulders, and I never liked it at all. Like I kind of hated it. So when I see people that have like no hip belt, I'm like, how do they fucking do that? Was it like a transition into that, or have you always just like found that kind of works for you?
Like I would like hike like back in like my heavier days, and I'd like find myself like a lot of times just like loosening the hip belt a lot, like you're saying, and like wanting it on my shoulders. And then like I think when I started the AT and like some of the heavier carries, it was definitely like hard on my shoulders, but I kind of just like pushed through it because I was thinking about like the, I guess, biomechanical benefits of not having your hip constricted. And I have a kind of like a bigger neck and shoulders from wrestling, so I think I have a little more like meat up top there where the shoulder straps are, so I think that helps too. But I don't know. I would definitely think about it.
Back, like, does it like? I feel like it wouldn't be good for your back, but I mean, I don't fucking know. It was just never comfortable for me, so I don't know. It's just it's interesting to hear people talk about that stuff.
Yeah, I think. Well, obviously, hike your own hike, but everyone says that, but like, you know, for me, it works out, and like I'll tell people, and I gotta watch because I'll try to get my friends to like do the same things I do, and I'm like, well, this isn't what normal people do, so I should maybe show them the normal way first and let them grow into the ultralight thing.
yeah, but I mean, there's still like there's still enough people going no hip belt out there for it to. I wouldn't say it's normal, but it's not like uncommon at this point either.
Yeah, there's definitely a decent amount of hikers. I feel like.
I don't know. I just like
hashtag free the hip.
What's your like base weight looking like? Say for like 3-season, not completely freezing, but not like 3-season base weight roughly.
Like on the Northfield Placid Trail, my base weight was like 8.5 pounds.
Okay, so you got a couple pounds less than me, so that maybe that would help, I guess, because like I could see 8 pounds.
Yeah, you definitely want to have a lighter.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, for sure. We're not talking about like you got 40 pounds and you're packing your gun without a hip belt. That's a recipe for disaster. So maybe if I shave like a few more pounds off my pack, then it would become more viable, I guess. I don't know.
What's interesting is I was talking to my buddy about it. He was in the Army. And this isn't true for all like militaries, because I have other friends in the military that are like definitely like the frame and the hip belt, but like in his company or whatever unit that would do the marches, the rucks and stuff, and that's like a 40-pound base weight plus your rifle and ammo. And he said that they didn't wear their hip belts on their packs, and they just put it all on their shoulders, and like you just toughened up your shoulders, and it was easier for them to carry it. I feel like
it's gonna be so bad for your like back and stuff. Like I feel like I have pretty bad posture. It's probably mostly from sitting on my ass all day working and stuff. But I feel like part of it too is just from having the weight. Because here's something I should say too. I put a lot of weight on my hip belt. Like most of the weight is on my hips usually when I'm hiking. I feel like. Even when my pack's light and stuff, I don't know. That's just the way I've always done it. That's what seems to be more comfortable for me. And I just feel like after doing so many miles with like weight on my back, like I feel like that's made my posture worse. It probably hasn't, honestly, but I just feel like that. So I don't know. I just feel like having all the weight on the shoulders would just like fuck my back up. But apparently it doesn't. Apparently it works for some people. I think that's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I like it, but hike your own hike, as I said.
Exactly. Let's talk about the mileage thing. So when Jacob and it was more just Jacob coming up with ideas for this episode, which I really appreciate, by the way.
No problem.
One of the ideas that he had, and honestly, this is a good idea to talk about, something that I think about a lot too. I'm just going to read what your message, or part of your message, because I'll butcher it if I try to explain it. So Jacob wrote, another idea I have is it could be interesting to talk about how you set your mileage goals for a trip. Like, where's the line between working hard but still having a great time versus being exhausted and just grinding out the miles so you can feel the reward at the end. And I thought that was really interesting because that's something I've kind of thought about a lot too. I'm sure there's like a lot of people listening that have as well. And obviously it depends on the context of your hike, but it's like, I feel like when people who don't understand like through hiking and like long distance backpacking and maybe the like endurance aspect of it, you know, how that kind of comes into play sometimes, they would think like, why would you just go like as hard as you can and like make yourself miserable? Like what's the point in that? Like you're on a hike, like you're supposed to enjoy the nature or whatever. But then obviously there's like the ultra running side of it. I feel like those folks might be more just like, you know, I'm generalizing here, but might be more about just like the reward aspect. And I feel like that kind of leaves a lot of hikers like myself at least, and it sounds like you too, somewhere in the middle of like trying to find a balance between those two things. I'm rambling here, but when I'm planning a trip, I feel like a longer trip, like a short through hike maybe, it's like I don't picture it in my head as just like purely grind out endurance and finish the hike. But I also don't picture it as just like a camping trip where I'm just gonna fuck around the whole time. And it's like, where is that line? I don't know. I thought that was a cool idea. Like, what is the line there? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I've been pondering this a lot because it's like the people I hike with, it's like a mix. Some of the people from home, it's more those fun trips I was talking about where you're gonna want to have a nice fire and maybe cook on the fire and do that kind of stuff. And then I have other friends like the ones I did the Daytona Trail and like some of our long pushes, like where we're hiking for 20 hours trying to get like 50 miles done in a day.
That's nuts.
And like I don't know, it's nuts because like when I think about like these people setting the FKTs, and it takes so much effort to do 50 miles in a day, and then they are doing like 40, 50 miles like every day, like on these trails that have like high elevation change, all that. And like I don't want to get like sucked into just being like, oh, let's go out and like hurt ourselves and like kind of treating nature like a gym.
Mm-hmm.
Because like on that hike in New Jersey, my knee was like tweaked and like I couldn't like hike on rough terrain for like a month or two. Like it was like definitely detrimental to like my fitness and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's like, I don't know, I'm always like when I go camping, I always want to get people moving in the morning and like let's get on the trail, get some miles in, and you know, I like to be moving all day and feel like I accomplished something. The line for me is like around 20 miles a day. That's how we were doing it. Like on the Northfield Placid Trail, we averaged like 21 miles or something like that a day. And I feel like that was a really good balance. And I think me and Hershey have like a good chemistry with that because he wrestled in college. He's tough, you know, he's athletic. He can push himself. But you know, we still have fun in camp. You know, if it's a really cool spot to stop for lunch, like we're gonna do it. We're gonna enjoy the view and stuff like that. So I don't even know if I have like a definitive answer on that. It's just something I think about a lot. Is, you know, where those lines are, and it's like it's really easy to compare yourself to like other hikers and like on the AT and like just on social media, and they're ripping like 30-mile days with ease, and like I don't know, it takes a lot for me to do 30 miles in a day, and like that's not really sustainable. But you still want to like I still want to feel tough and like I'm, you know, this, you know, tough hiker guy, and I can not compete, but like I can hang with these guys, and it's like, well, they have longer legs or whatever than you, and it's not really good to compare yourself to other hikers.
No.
As long as you know you're pushing yourself, that's kind of what matters. And that's super cliche, but
yeah, no, I agree with that. And honestly, I think my line is in a very similar place. So maybe we should go hiking together sometime.
Yeah, dude.
But like 20 miles, I feel like that's a good, I don't know, that is a good line for me, because I feel like if I try to do more than 20, usually those are like, by the end of the day, I'm like not feeling too hot, you know, like I'm fine, but I'm just like probably not having that much fun. But I don't really like the idea of just like sitting around and just hiking really slow and doing like a few miles and fucking around like a bunch either. So I don't know. I feel like, yeah, 15 to 20 miles roughly is kind of my line too. But it also depends on A, the terrain, and B, the context of your hike too, because I'm sure you'll agree with this, or I'm assuming you'll agree with this. I think a lot of people will, honestly. If you're like in the middle of a through hike, then like your attitude and like the context is just so different that I feel like bigger miles just make more sense and they're more like appealing versus I feel like when you first get out there, maybe just on like a 2 or 3 day hike, like you're just in a different mindset, right? Like you're more like trying to soak it in. You've probably been thinking about it for a while, and so you might be apt to like kind of smell the roses a little bit more. Does that make sense?
No, for sure.
It's like I don't know.
It takes like a couple days too to like get into like even if you're in good shape and trail running and stuff or training, like it still takes a couple days to like really get in that flow where your body's feeling like decent in the morning and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you also have a little bit of a different perspective because I've never done more than like a 30-mile day. That's about the most I've ever done in a day. And so I've never like 50 fucking miles. I mean, we talked about that last time, but that still is just crazy to me. I don't know.
Well, what's crazy is like, so String Bean, who set the FKT for the Appalachian Trail, he averaged like 48 miles a day for the entire Appalachian Trail.
It's nuts, dude. It's
like,
fucking nuts.
Who I forget what the name of the guy you had on who did like the New Hampshire Diaritessima.
Will Peterson.
Yeah, even like hit the miles he puts down. I'm like, and in the whites, like, oh my gosh, I can never like.
Yeah,
I was just like so impressed with that. Like, I don't think I'll ever, be at that level.
Yeah,
but
I don't either. Do you have any desire to like? I'm not saying like you have to say like you would be able to do one, but do you have any desire to even attempt any sort of FKT? Like any desire at all? Because this is something Flossie and I have talked about a little bit as we just barely start getting into trail running, and like I'm not trying to shit on Flossie here, but he talks about like some of these like FKTs sometimes, and like, oh, it'd be so cool to like set one of those. Not like seriously like trying to or like planning to do one, but every time he says that, I'm like, I don't know if that would be fun. Honestly, I'm genuinely not sure if that is something I'm really interested in. So yeah, I asked you a question that I kept going there, but yeah, do you have any interest in that, or are you just like, nah, fuck that?
No, I don't think. I just don't think I'm fast enough to hike to do an FKT and like still sleep and like do all the things to take care of yourself. I enjoy like the challenges me and my buddies do, where it's like, 50-mile trail in a day. I think, and like, I don't know, I got a lot of work to do for this, but I definitely someday I do want to run like an ultra marathon. Like I don't like 100-mile race or something. I don't know. I wouldn't be going that fast, but I think that is like a challenge that like I really, and like you got to train for years to build up to that.
Yeah.
So it's like a long-term goal. But I think something like that and just like kind of the headspace you would get into that would be kind of cool. But you're not carrying weight when you're running like that. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know. And not, like I said, I wouldn't be doing it for any speed records, but like, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see if I could do that. And we'll definitely keep trying. Like May 1st weekend, we're doing the 4x4x48 challenge.
The what?
It's by David Goggins. He came up with it, and it's
no way.
It's like you do 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. So like you gotta like do your circuit, come back, and then you can like sleep and wait for the next one, but you can't ever get like a full like night's sleep. So like he had posted that like in March, I think was the official challenge on Instagram. We were trying to do it, and then I accidentally booked tickets to Oregon to go skiing, and I missed it. So the crew has bumped it back so I can join.
I'll be honest, skiing in Oregon sounds way more fun than doing that fucking challenge.
It was a great time.
Damn, that's crazy. So what are you gonna like? Where are you gonna do the miles then? Are you gonna do them on trail or just like on like in your fucking like neighborhood? Like where are you gonna do the miles?
At first we were gonna do it. All my friends live in like Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, or like a little town. There's like a bike path you could do it on that's like near them, that's like next to a river, which is kind of cool. But instead, I thought of the idea. My dad has like a hunting property up like north of like the Lehigh Gap, kind of, if you know the AT.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a one like it's like a gravel driveway, and then like a real like back country road. There's like a perfect 1 mile loop right near there. So we're gonna like set up a base camp at my dad's property, and then we're just gonna do that loop 4 times every 4 hours. So should be interesting. I'll definitely be posting on Instagram about it.
Are you gonna be running it or hiking it or walking or whatever?
I don't know. My friends I'm doing with will probably be running more than me, just because I'm getting back into running shape. But like I know I can hike 4 miles in 4 hours. Like I can do that and like sleep a little. Like I know. So I'll probably like start off running and jogging. Like I'd jog slower than everybody. Like it's even in like wrestling, and when I was in like college and stuff, I was like the slowest runner for some reason. So like I won't even try to keep up with them on that. But I think if I just stick to my own pace, I definitely think it's pretty easy. And I don't know. I'll probably start out running, and then we'll see how it goes.
Interesting. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm excited to see that on your Instagram story. I've never heard of that. See, at first when you said the challenge, and then you said David Goggins came up with it, I thought you meant like it was a hiking challenge that David Goggins came up with. I was like, that's awesome. I didn't know David Goggins likes to hike. I don't even really know anything about David Goggins. Yeah, did I say that right? David Goggins.
Yeah, David Goggins.
I don't even know.
Goggins.
But yeah. That's still crazy though. I don't even feel like trying to do the math. How many miles is that total within the 48 hours?
It ends up being 48 miles. So
it's like
it's not even that bad. Like
I mean, it's a lot, but it's not like, if you think about it in terms of a hiking day, it's like it's doable. It's definitely doable for someone with like your level of experience, obviously.
It's the 4 hour intervals that are like the mental challenge.
Yeah, because
you
like
can't just sleep.
You just can't sleep. Like, I don't know if I could do that, honestly. I need sleep to function. And I guess you're just like kind of slogging your way around the loop, so it's not like you're, I don't know. What's your, this has really kind of made me curious now. What's your strategy as far as knocking the 4 miles out? Like, each time are you going to just do the 4 laps and get the 4 miles done and then take the rest of the time to rest? Or are you going to just do like one lap and rest for a little bit, do the next as long as you get it done in the 4 hours, if that makes sense?
I'll probably try to do them all 4 miles at once each time, like depending on how I'm feeling. And I'm even like getting ahead of myself and thinking like, if you at the beginning of 1 4 hour interval, if you do your 4 miles real quick, and then you like, let's say you do that in like an hour and a half, and then you can sleep for 5 hours and then do the next one in an hour and a half. And then, so like I might be able to buy a little extra sleep there, but that's playing with fire too. You don't want to get behind your time. So I don't know.
You got to make sure you don't lose track too. Cause if you're just doing like the same loop every single time, and like you've done it for 24 hours straight at that point, I feel like it'd be pretty easy, and you're not sleeping.
That's a good point.
I feel like it'd be real easy to lose track, at least if you're me, of like how many miles you've done or whatever. So maybe get like a white, I don't know why I'm offering advice on this thing. I'm never going to do.
This is a very new thing. So all tips are appreciated.
Like a big whiteboard or something where you can just like knock it off each time. So it's easy to keep track of. I don't know. That's what I would have to do at least.
That would be awesome. We could put like all our names up there, and then like you just, and then
you could post on the Instagram too. Like you could like show pictures of the whiteboard periodically to show your progress. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm looking on Amazon for a whiteboard after this.
Good shit. Well, I'm really excited to watch you do that.
Should be fun.
Yeah. Let's talk about your podcast for a little bit here at the end. What's the new podcast? Did you mention this on the last episode? I can't remember.
I think I talked and said I was like thinking about starting, or like I wanted to start one, but I like wasn't there yet. I had like tried a couple episodes and like didn't like it at all. And like it's been in my, like I really love podcasts. Like I listen to them all the time. So like I've thought like as my avenue to like get into media. Like I don't have the patience to like video edit and stuff, and like I mean I'm sure I could if I really stuck to it, but I don't even want to go down that road.
Not yet. That's what I said when I first started too.
Yeah, all right, word. But I was like, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I feel like I can appreciate a lot of I don't know, just I like the art of communication. I used to listen to like a lot of talk shows and stuff when I was little, like ESPN radio. So I was like, yeah, I think that'd be a good way to, connect people with the company and stuff. So me and David, who's the other co-founder, my buddy from college. So like we only have 4 episodes out, but like the general idea is just to like provide updates on the company, kind of like let people get a look into like what goes into a startup, or like what what we're doing, the steps we're taking, and kind of connect people with that. And then just, I don't know, random outdoors adventure tips. I don't want to make it all about hiking, because I feel like there's lots of great hiking podcasts already. I kind of want to make it its own. I don't know. I'll find my niche as we go on, but I don't know. I really enjoy it. Like recording. We have 4 episodes on Spotify so far, but I feel like podcasts don't even get good till like episode like 20 or 30. So
yeah, depends on your guest, honestly.
True. We don't have any guests yet, but I definitely want to, like, once we establish it, I definitely want to start bringing people in and just like interviewing them, like different like climbers or mountain bikers or skiers and stuff. People who do enjoy the outdoors in like a different way than us, and just kind of relate those two. And I don't know, could be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, dude, that's really exciting, honestly. It's kind of funny you say like your first episodes suck, because everybody knows I say that a lot. But I feel like I had the advantage of just having guests on right from the start, and that just automatically makes it suck like 50% less, at least, I feel like, because if it was just me talking, who else is like on your show then? You said we.
Yeah, so it's me and my buddy David, who we own the company together. Like I have the majority, but he
what's the company partner. Again, just to remind everybody?
Yeah, Rigging It Gear. So we're like an outdoor gear company that we're trying to launch like a line of. First, we're doing a line of like modular fanny packs, and then I want to get into modular like backpacks. I have a whole system I've been designing and testing and working on for like the last year or so. So we're like getting ready to bring that to market. And I feel like it was funny. Like I sent in the last like piece of what we want to have for our modular like Kickstarter, or modular fanny pack Kickstarter, like the different systems. So I mailed the last of the like design pieces to the factory in Colorado, and they're going to do like a run of prototypes for us. And that's what we'll film for the Kickstarter, film with for the Kickstarter. And then they will probably do the manufacturing for the Kickstarter, but we'll see. They're kind of a little slower than they said they'd be. Yeah, so I forget where I was going with that. But
you're just explaining what the company was.
Yeah, so yeah, we're so basically it's this modular system to kind of like, I don't know, for people to like hop between hiking and climbing, skiing, like going to the gym and stuff. It's not going to be like the best backpack for any of those systems, but if you want like one pack to do it all, that's kind of the idea. So like once I remember where I was at. So once I sent in that last design piece that I'd like, there was like the chest mount for the fanny pack, so you can like wear it on your chest for like, I don't know, I was using it for skiing. It was kind of handy. But as soon as I sent that in, I was like, I don't have any sewing left to do for this Kickstarter. Like all the designs are in now. I gotta work on my media, and like I've been trying to do my Kickstarter or my Instagram and get that going more popular. But I was like, all right, what's the next step now that like kind of gigantic task is over. Like the designs are in now, and we'll tweak them, maybe work with the factory if we want to change anything. But I was like, all right, now I got to focus my energy on like a new task. And like you kind of have to do it one thing at a time, at least for me, because I do work 8 hours a day, so I only have a little bit of time every day to work on this stuff. So I wasn't doing like a lot of different stuff. I was kind of like accomplishing one task at a time. So now that that's all in, I'm leaning into the podcast, and once we get the prototypes back, we got to start doing like some filming and stuff, and build up our Kickstarter, which is supposed to launch May 14th. We'll see about that. We might push it back to June, but yeah. Awesome,
man. Where can everybody go to like check out Rigging It and the podcast and all that stuff?
Yeah, so follow our Instagram. I'll put up basically everything on that. It's Rigging It Gear. RIGGINITGEAR. And then our website is r-i-g.co. And if you go on that, you can read my Appalachian Trail Journal. And then we have our Kickstarter preview page, so you can kind of look at it's a very rough first draft of what our Kickstarter is going to look at, but like the first prototype pictures and kind of the idea. And you can sign up for our email list there too, so that'd be cool. To build up our network and all of that. And then my personal Instagram, which I like cross put, like all my stories, I realize I just post to both Rigging It and my Instagram, but I do some different stuff on each. That's at the Real J Young. So at the TheRealJyoungs. So yeah, that's how you find me.
Good stuff. I think that's going to do it, man. I appreciate you doing a second episode, Jacob. We'll definitely do another one, probably pretty soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll try to get one more in before the Kickstarter launch, so we can kind of check up on how all that stuff's going. Because honestly, I talked about this a lot in the first episode we did, but I've never used the gear. I don't know if it's good or not, but I just think it's cool that I don't know. I just think it's cool to get the inside perspective on someone who's like really starting from the ground up on a gear company like this. So I think other people are really interested in that stuff as well. So dude, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody listening. Sorry I missed last week. I'm doing my best here, and that's going to do it. Peace out.